So this is my adaptation, and it's going from a song into a film short, and the song's by The Fall. It's called Edinburgh Man, and the film short, the tagline is sort of like, it's going to be called Edinburgh Man, but the tagline is going to be Edinburgh Man. I thought that was quite clever. I wanted to keep it short and sweet and not like try and put too many of my own ideas, and keep it close to the original song. This is just my general information about it. Yeah, it's film short, but it's going to be shorter than it's going to be like, because film shorts use about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but mine's only going to be 8 minutes, and this is because it's a song, and in the song there's not actually that much content, so it's all I can sort of put into the film short is inspiration that I've taken from the song. Yeah. The soundtrack, it's only going to be songs by The Fall. So Edinburgh Man, maybe they do a song called Victoria. Right, so it's going to be about Mark E. Smith, who's the lead singer who recently died, and that's sort of the reason why I'm making it, because it's a tribute to him, and it'll be a good time to bring it out as well, because obviously he's recently died. There's publicity from that. And then these are two of the original members who will be walking about Edinburgh, because the Edinburgh Man song is basically, he's saying that he just loves his home city. So they're going to be walking about looking at sort of landmarks and other things from the song, like they go to a pub, walk down sort of cobblestone roads. Yeah, it's going to be based in the 1980s, because this is when The Fall was sort of at their biggest, when they sort of like hit the scene sort of thing. Yeah, like I said, it's a tribute in Edinburgh. Synopsis. It's going to be mainly, because it's so short, it's going to be based a lot around sort of the art, and that there won't be many sort of editing in it, and it's going to be mainly about the filming, because I think that's sort of the art to it. Yeah, so there's three characters, and we basically walk around Edinburgh looking at these landmarks, but they're going to do things from the song. Like in the song there's a line, as I sit and stare at all England's souls. So I sort of took from that he was people watching, so they're going to go to a landmark and like people watch, or at each place where they go, which will be like a landmark, a pub, and to Edinburgh's old town, they're going to say a line from the song, and like one line from the song is "Keep me away from the festival," which is obviously the Edinburgh Festival, but that'll fit into a conversation, into the dialogue. Yeah, casting and effects. The effects are going to be sort of like a linear, so it's sort of looks sort of old-fashioned, like it is from the 80s, and also so it's like a memory, in memory of Mark E. Smith, the lead singer. I've got a video of sort of like the type of effect I'm going for. Like I said, the casting for it, because I chose James McAvoy to play the lead singer, and I only really wanted one big person in it, because Mark E. Smith was the only member to stay the whole way through the fall. Like he's the only original member, and obviously it's a tribute to him. So I wanted to, and as well I'm using James McAvoy because he's Scottish, and I think the song is a lot about how he loves Edinburgh, and I think I'm going to try and portray a lot of patriotism in it, because I do think that these days people aren't very patriotic and everyone seems to hate the country that they're from, especially in the West. Yeah. Target audience, Strange Generation X, like 40s, 50s, because these are sort of like, the Fallout are very well known bands, so younger people aren't really going to know about them. But the people who were sort of 80 in the teens at that time, it'll appeal to them. As well, it's selling nostalgia for this generation, and obviously being a tribute to it. I chose this socio-economic grouping because it was sort of post-punk music, so it was. I don't think sort of upper class people would have been listening to that, so I chose sort of D. B maybe a bit high, but sort of lower jobs, more working class, maybe even middle class jobs. Like I said, nostalgia. The geographical location is Scotland, and that's another thing I'm trying to get across, because it's a tribute to Mark E. Smith, and I think he was a very patriotic guy, and I think he would appreciate the patriotism. I think that's it. Okay. Any questions?
What would it be like shown on?
Well, it won't really be shown in cinemas, but it might be shown on some kind of streaming website. Maybe not Netflix, because that's a bit too big. I don't think it'd make that. But definitely on sort of the producers' websites and other websites that you might have to pay a subscription for.
I think that's a really good question, because that's what we'd want to know. Where are we going to see it playing out? And I think you need to consider that, and also maybe look at some maybe specialist music websites, that kind of thing, because you've got quite a niche idea there. So I do think that's something you need to look at. Film shorts as well. Any other questions? Just sticking with your film shorts, also there tends to be funding from like the BFI fund film shorts, and I think there's probably something similar in Scotland where they have a kind of like a body of kind of government money where they invest in art.
It's going to be made by BBC Scotland.
Right, so look into that and make sure you know that's available. And I'd also I've made a note of like the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, but then one of the things you referenced was that in the lyrics it said something about keep me away from the festival. Yeah. So is it because the Fall were very anti the Fringe?
Yeah, well, the Fall are like sort of post-punk, like Nick Cave and the Pogues and that, so they were quite a punk anti-establishment. So.
Well, the Fringe is quite anti-establishment, isn't it, in parts?
I don't actually know.
Yeah. I would suggest you do a bit of research into that, because that might be a good, if you're going for your Edinburgh focus, patriotism and all of the rest of it, then as a tribute, then it might be, have a look at Edinburgh Fringe, and that might be an opportunity for you to play out. But I certainly think it's the kind of film that will play out at festivals, film festivals.
Yeah, definitely.
So also look at that, because I think, with a film short, film festival is really important for you. So look at funding from Scottish Film, look at the Edinburgh Fringe, and the BFI website tends to have some good links there. And the only other thing I would say is consider your target audience, because at the moment I think it's really limited to, I get you kind of core target audience will be Generation X, 40 to 50s. I think you need to widen it out. You're into the Fall, other people have heard of the Fall, so don't assume that.
I think I've definitely just assumed
widen your audience out, otherwise it's too niche. And
it is going to be, so, because there might be a bit of swearing, so I think I'm going to make it about a 12A. So
Yeah, that's absolutely
broadens
fine. That's fine. But
scope.
you know, just bear. I think keep your core target audience in place, but also say, you know, there is an awareness of, particularly for kind of muso type people who are into music will go back catalogue and you know, look for different music and different you know, listening experiences. And I think, you know, just watch what you said about the target audience for punk was predominantly middle class kids. You know, and you're talking about punk, post-punk type anti-establishment, and in the main it was kind of middle class. So don't, you know, say, B's too high.
Research.
I think you need to consider your audience on that one, because it was quite a thinking movement.
Yeah.
Punk was, you know, it was about thinking about the state of the world and reacting to the state of the world in a political way. So you know, it is that. And I think also you need to, when you showed us that clip, was it Californication?
Yeah.
I think you need to make sure that you actually convey in your storyboard how you're gonna achieve those results.
Well, yeah, it's not really good because that was the opening, the intro. So all I was trying to show you was sort of like the sort of burn effects on it. It's going to be.
But all I'm saying is that all of those effects and ideas that you want in your coming through your film, make sure that in your storyboard you communicate that either visually or in the narrative, in the annotation on your storyboard. Make sure that they come through. And the other thing, have you researched what Edinburgh landmarks you're going to be looking at?
Yeah, I do.
Give me some examples.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's at one of the universities. It's like I can't remember what it's called. But I can find out for you.
You find out for you. You know, because if you're going to go.
I know which one, because it's going to be like 3 parts. It'll be in the pub.
Which pub where? No, you can't have any pub. You've got to have your location. So no, you need to maybe to have a look at some pubs on the Royal Mile or something like that.
Okay.
You know, those kind of really old.
Because like I said, it's going to be in the old, Edinburgh's old sort of like old town. Yeah.
So have a look at some of the kind of like the oldest pub in Scotland. I think is on the Royal Mile or something like that. Then there's the castle, isn't there? The Arthur's Seat and all of those kind of like key. So you know, decide what you're going to do about that. Any other questions, Joe? No? No?
No.
Alright, let's switch off then. Good. Thanks, Lou.